The film begins with an announcement, where all the passengers are instructed to wear seatbelts. We learn that many airline companies have stopped flying their planes, and the reason is that many planes have either disappeared secretly or they get destroyed. The last accident happened in Tokyo, in which the plane fell into the water. All the passengers were killed. A senior officer was telling all this to his junior officer. He tells that every accident takes different times in different planes, but the place is the same. That is, all the incidents happened in Tokyo. How can it be possible? It can't be a coincidence. Later, we see a flight that was ready to take off which was named 407. After this, we see a girl who was enrolled in school. That's why she was going in a car with her parents to the airport. Later, her mother scolds her for something because he was very strict, but his father was very soft-tempered. At the airport, 4 people, the air hostess, were going toward the ship because it was about to fly. Then a woman approaches, and she begins to get information from a man, but the man runs away instead of giving her the information. The man says, "Look, I am a pious man, stay away from me." Meanwhile, a boy sitting nearby was observing them. Actually, they were all passengers of Flight 407. Now the air hostesses, after checking everyone's passport, make them sit on the plane. A girl asks the air hostess, "How long will it take us to go to the UK? Because I can't wait anymore. I want to get there as soon as possible." Later, we see the plane's mechanic whose name is Bank. He goes to the engine room of the plane and starts checking the whole system, to check if there is any defect in the plane. Suddenly the plane's door closes. It starts and begins to fly in the air. The door of the engine room was closed where Bank was, so he traps there. When the air hostess opens the fridge to give food to the passengers, it does not open them in any way because the door was completely jammed. After this, the main character of the story, an air hostess whose name was Nu, she hits her hand on the fridge's door, and it opens. Later, Nu remembers once she had opened the door exactly like this before today, but she doesn't remember when she did this. She was still remembering the past. Suddenly, she sees a shadow behind her as if there is a ghost, and she gets very scared. After a little normal, she comes to the passenger. That nobleman sees a strange thing, that some footprints are chasing Nu. Seeing this, he gets very nervous. After that, the child who was enrolled in the school who came with his parents. Then the girl asks the man, "Uncle, I've seen the strange footprints. Did you see those footprints?" He nervously tells her, "Which prints are you talking about?" "I haven't seen prints. The footprints you are telling about are actually your illusions." After that, the boy goes to the washroom, and while washing his face, he can't see anything because of the soap on his face, and we see ghosts' hands behind him. Those hands cut the boy's face with the help of their nails, but the boy does not know because he did not feel any pain. The lights keep turning on and off in the plane. Now, strange and horrible things started happening on the plane. Then a man gets up from his seat and walks in a strange way. Then the air hostess tells him, "Please sir, don't do this, you sit on your seat." Then, after listening to this, the man's face becomes strange. In the voice of the ghost, he says, "Do not teach me what I should and should not do." Saying this, his neck starts spinning in a strange way. Seeing this, all the passengers get very scared. After a while, the man falls down and becomes unconscious, and when he regains consciousness, he completely returns to his real condition, and he had no memory of what happened before a while. Now the boy on whose face the ghost had marked. The girl sitting with him tells him that there is a cut mark on your face and blood is flowing. Then the boy asks for the medicine and bandage from the air hostess, to which the air hostess says, "Sir, what mark are you talking about? Your face is absolutely clear. There is no mark." Because that mark had disappeared from his face, because the temperature of that room was decreasing. Then, he sees the dead people who have become ghosts there. Later, the emergency red light turns on in the cabin of the pilot, from which they immediately understand that someone is in the engine room. That's why a pilot goes to check, and he finds Bank there whose condition was very bad. Now he is pulled out of there. Meanwhile, a pilot sees something astonishing and disturbing, that the plane is decomposing and has been rusted. To see if the plane really getting rotted, the pilot turns on the light there. Then he sees many scary ghosts in front of him, seeing which he gets very scared. he starts screaming because both the ghosts attacked him. Bank had a lot of injuries because of this. The new bandages him. Later, the pilot who went down now also comes up. He was in a very strange condition because he seemed completely silent. Nu asks what happened, are you okay? In response, he says only one thing, I have to tell the pilot something, and he was saying the same thing again and again, and without saying anything he goes straight out of here. Seeing this, he suddenly disappears from there, and seeing this, Nu gets very nervous. After some time there is a lack of oxygen in the plane, due to which all the passengers become restless. Their condition becomes bad and one by one everyone starts fainting, but Nu finds an oxygen cylinder, and she remains safe from fainting. She sees that a dead air hostess who has become a ghost. She was giving food to all the passengers by bringing a trolley, and if we talked about her face, anyone can become scared after seeing it, but Nu manages herself and gives oxygen masks to all the passengers, and they all come to their senses. She takes that girl under her control and she starts getting tremors. And after a while, she gets up and asks in her horrible voice, Nu, where are you? Last time you survived, but this time I will not leave you. Nu was getting to faint due to lack of oxygen, but he had just a little sense. She could still see many ghosts, but now there is so much lack of oxygen that an old woman dies because of this. And the rest of the passengers also started fainting, but their luck was good because of the malfunction that the oxygen system has. Bank completely repairs it. Because of this, everyone's life is saved and they thank Bank. Because of him, everyone survived. If he were not there, everyone would have been killed. Bank tells everyone that we should open the door of the pilot's cabin together, because that door is closed and they don't know what's going on with us. And if he opens the cabin's door, the pilots can help us. Then the mother of that child, who was very strict, asks Nu why this soul wants to kill you. She does not answer anything, but because of this topic of ghosts, the nobleman becomes very upset. That's why he stands up from his seat and starts telling everyone that these ghosts are a kind of power, and they turn into a wave that does not harm humans. If these souls cannot harm anyone directly, after hearing this the child's mom asks, tell me one thing. Are you a noble person or a scientist who is giving such lectures? He says that I was a scientist earlier and you have become a noble man, so now stop shouting on the name of the ghost. Meanwhile, many shouts of the ghosts can be heard on the plane. Because of this everyone gets very scared. And after seeing this, Nu also understands what is the reason behind this incident. She tells everyone the reason, that 10 years ago one of my flights had an accident. All the passengers sitting on the plane were doing strange things in weird states. Everyone was killed by being a victim of someone, and I was the only savior. Who have come to pick me up. Now, they go ahead and see 3 air hostess ghosts near the pilot's cabin. They were calling everyone to him by pointing them. Now that soul again controls that girl. The girl strangely starts to bend her body. The boy starts beating her a lot considering her a ghost, and she dies. Now that girl's mother sees her daughter sitting in one place, quite scared. So, she tries to lift her by holding her hand and sees a burnt hand when she sees her there again. In fact, it was not her daughter, but someone else whose whole body was burnt. After that everyone starts looking for that child and Bank says that I know where that child is. She must be in the downstairs cabin. Here 4 people go to find that child. Bank here asks Nu that you were saved in the last accident, but how? She says that I should keep my eyes closed till the plane came down. I kept my eyes closed, because of this I was saved. They have to close their eyes. The old lady who died from the lack of oxygen. She comes alive again and attacks the mother of the child, but she somehow saves her life from the ghost of the old lady. She beats him a lot by taking the eating trolley. She smashes her and kills the old lady once again. Now the souls start controlling the child's mother also. Seeing all this, the nobleman gets very scared, and starts praying that the mother of the child may not kill me. But the child's mother sees a ghost in him too, so she crushes him with a trolley and kills him. In the cabin, the 3 witches seemed more dangerous, approaching them. Bank tells everyone to close their eyes so that we can all be saved, but the boy can't close his eyes because of fear. The witches begin to scare him, and to avoid them he tosses an axe toward a witch, but she disappears and the axe hits the pilot and he dies. After coming up, they see all the dead people become alive and have become ghosts. Later, an air hostess ghost approaches him. After punching her hand into his stomach, she kills her. Actually, the witch has controlled the mom of that child, and after using her body, she was killing everyone. Later, Bank and the child's dad begin to run down to escape from them. The child's dad says, "If I become a ghost, I will not leave those who become ghosts." Bank says, "You're right. We can only face them after being a ghost." After saying this, they begin to laugh. Now, they see the three witches begin to weak because of their laughter. In a while, they fly after becoming the ashes. On the other side, the child's mom finds her daughter, but she attacks her. After coming there, they save the child, as she was the youngest, so Bank sends her inside from the pilot's cabin. So, she can open the cabin's door, and everyone sits there. After going inside, she opens the door, but this place was not also safe. Ghosts have occupied there, they've spread everywhere, even the pilot's cabin, and were present there after killing him. For this reason, the plane begins to land. Later, when child's mom comes to attack them. Suddenly, knives, spoons, and similar objects enters into her body. As she dies, reveals another truth that I became quite afraid of in the previous accident. I locked the cabin's door. There was an injured air hostess outside the door. She was crying and asking me to open the door, and I opened the door. I found her, but I made a big mistake there. Instead of helping her, I killed her after hitting her with the door. That's why the air hostess is killing everyone and has come to kill me. The plane was near the ground, so the child's dad tries to land it. Bank calls the airport and says, "I'm talking from flight 407. We are in trouble, please help us." Meanwhile, a pilot helps them that how to land the plane on the ground. Unfortunately, their landing wheel and the gear trap. Because the witches have kept the gear and the wheels. Seeing this, Bank begins to break the wheels and the electric system. Because of this, all the souls begin to fly after leaving the plane. Later, the plane finally lands on the ground. Everyone becomes happy, and Bank tells that finally, we are safe. Meanwhile, an announcement is made which tells that they found Nu's body. It means she had died, but still, her soul was helping them. She was saving everyone from the souls and the ghosts. Because she was ashamed that she didn't help the air hostess in the accident. Later, we see flight 407, in which the soul of Nu was present. She was waiting for the new passengers, and the film ends with this. Thank you for watching, and make sure to subscribe the channel, like the video.